This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Hey, welcome back. It is First Alert Weather Breakdown time. It is Thursday. Hello, welcome on. I was about to repeat my name again. In case you didn't get it the first time, meteorologist Evan Thomason here. I'm the host of your First Alert Weather Breakdown here for today. CJ will be back next week, but I'm with you for the rest of this work week. Anyways, really exciting stuff here for the day today. Lots of content for you guys. Our main exclusive content here for today that'll probably get you a little bit in the feels, but overall, just great content overall is we're interviewing a meteorologist from Austin, Texas, who was essentially much more of a critical and was much more involved with all these historic Central Texas flooding that happened nearly 3 weeks ago. Obviously still an unfolding situation even now, 3 weeks later, just about. It was 20 days ago, happened on the 4th of July. So yes, we'll be discussing that. We already interviewed him earlier this morning. We have the recording on that playing on this episode of First Alert Weather Breakdown. Super excited and honored to be able to interview him. His name is Tommy House. He will be on after a quick look at our local forecast. So let's get into the nitty-gritty and show you what we have here for the day today. So again, that interview with Tommy House, again, he's a TV meteorologist, just like myself, just in Austin, Texas, and he has kind of more of a first-person point of view of his experience going through the event and forecasting it and everything like that. So again, that interview will be on after our local forecast and a commercial break in just a little bit. So stay tuned. That's going to be really exciting info coming up for you guys. So hopefully you can stick around and, yeah, some great stuff. But definitely impactful stuff, obviously. As I said, the situation's still ongoing over there. Only wish them the best of luck overall. I'll get more into that interview in just a second. Let's get into the local forecast here for the day today because we got a whole interview to go over and a lot of content with it. So, beautiful blue skies here for your Thursday. Hey, it's just 2 days left of the work week, but only 1 day left with this kind of a picture. Beautiful blue skies and sunshine out and around before we really ramp up rain chances here starting into the region here for tomorrow. That's the live look at Shreveport and Bossier. Texarkana, pretty much the same thing. This almost looks like kind of copy-paste from every other day this work week, but we're actually starting to change things around even today, and that's going to come in the form of a little bit of cloud cover. In your morning planner, I know it's already 10:30, but temperatures are really going to continue to rise here for the day, and there's different areas of the Arklatex that'll be getting a little bit of cloud cover actually in for this afternoon, but it's still going to be hot, incredibly hot here in the Arklatex here for at least one more day before trying to cool things off just a little bit. And with some rain showers, the infiltration of a few kind of isolated groups of storms here for your Friday and Saturday over the next 2 days past today. That's what we're watching out for. As for next week, just a couple showers possible, mainly spread out across a few days. But overall, I'm expecting mostly dry, mostly sunny conditions to be back, especially once we get into the first thing for next week. And with that is going to return those really intense hot conditions as well. So we get a little bit of relief along with the rain, but again, it's just a little bit. So temperatures right now already up to 92 in Texarkana, 90 in Shreveport, 90 in Natchitoches, 88 in Idabel, 88 in Minden, 88 in Carthage. For the feels like temperatures though, oh my goodness. 98 in Shreveport, 101 already for Texarkana, 102 in Idabel, 101 in Mansfield. So pretty much a carbon copy mirror-wise temperature as for the temperatures here for the day today all around the region, with still those highs reaching up to the low 100s and upper 90s once more here for this afternoon. And believe it or not, that could happen again here for tomorrow as well. Here's those feels like temperatures here. In for the peak of the afternoon, they're going to be somewhere around 110, the 105 to 110 range, and then again for tomorrow afternoon. Now, despite having the rain around for tomorrow afternoon, I know it's supposed to cool us on down, but there's still going to be lots of humidity trapped here. And again, those storms don't spark up until the afternoon hours here for your Friday. It's after those Friday storms that we try to cool things off just a little bit more. And that's going to lead into us staying just a little bit cooler around here for Saturday. Saturday is mainly your relief day if you're going to have one. It's still going to be hot, Again, don't expect a massive relief. This is not some mind-blowing, oh my goodness, look at the breeze, I'm nice and pretty, kind of like movie scenes, so to speak. It's nothing like that. But it's something. That's what we want. That's what we want to emphasize. Still, is it's something. It's better than nothing. Again, a heat advisory is in effect here for the day today. If you looked, and if you're traveling anywhere around us, you're pretty much still under a heat advisory again, if not an excessive heat warning. We got some excessive heat warnings out towards the Louisiana-Mississippi border. Meanwhile, here's a big picture of what's going on. High pressure system off to our north. That's what's given us sunshine here for the day today. And it's now kind of retreated and slowly gone away into areas of the Appalachian Mountains, up by the Carolinas, Tennessee, West Virginia, that kind of area. It's kind of retreated here for a way. Now, that's been the sole reason of us giving sunshine and hot temperatures over the past couple of days. But the funny thing is it's actually going to be the detriment to how, and the reason to how we get rain showers over the next 2 days past today. And that is all from this low pressure center off the coast of Louisiana here right now. Maybe even a few showers reaching the coastline. There you see maybe in Calcasieu Parish down by Lake Charles here this morning. But the point is, all this rain is slowly going to travel northward, and that's mainly because of, as I said earlier, this high pressure system and the rotation that it has. It's going all the way around clockwise. It's always going to be the rotation of high pressure systems. That's just how the wind goes around it. So what we have is these westerlies, winds going from east to west. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and let you see the full picture without my head here. You go from east to west. Going from Florida, this was an area of interest in the eastern portion or western edge of the Atlantic Ocean technically yesterday, and now it is in the northern edge of the Gulf here this morning. You can see all the intense convection right along the Gulf there with all those colors of yellow and red. Again, that just really emphasizes the high cloud tops and the vast amounts of moisture and storms. We'll give you an actual radar look here in just a second. The point is, this all rotates around this high pressure system and comes up north and westward into the Arclitex. And you can already see coming to the remnants of this system trying to come up northwest into the region. So it's not a matter of if it will get here, it's just when. Again, the point is we've already started to see the trail bits of this cloud cover, the very edge of the system reaching into the Arclitex here for us currently. So as the system continues to get closer and closer, obviously that's when the rain is really going to come into the region. So here's a live check into your first alert Doppler radar. Obviously locally, nice and dry everywhere around here. But obviously our focus is everything south of here. And again, all this is barely just off the coastline. If anything, it's giving us a bad day for some beachgoers along the coast of, like, say, Panama City Gulf Shores and the very bayou of Louisiana, even south of New Orleans. But this is going to rotate around and give us a rainy afternoon and for pretty much any areas around the I-10 corridor here for the day today, reaching as far north as Alexandria and Natchitoches. And as we just discussed, this is a system that's going to continue to move northward. So a stray shower is technically possible for today. I think we see that as far north as Natchitoches, but that's really it. All I'm expecting really is still dry conditions here for today, but still a good amount of cloud cover. You see that vast cloud cover, especially in pockets of northwest Louisiana, a little bit into the eastern Texas area, south of I-20 as well. So that's the forecast here for the day today. But again, this is a system that continues to move northward, so we're going to increase the rain chances until this system finally passes us. Here for Friday, looks like the storms starting off, again, pretty much anywhere around the region here for Friday afternoon, but there are fewer storms, just a few number of storms in for the afternoon hours that could hit us at any point. Then for Saturday, this is probably my day of most concern. In fact, I might even increase the rain chances here before the noon show for this Saturday, because a couple more numerous storms start to form as early as the late morning hours and continue in throughout the afternoon with a couple more storms hitting across the region on that day. It looks like before Sunday actually look to get a little more on the dry side of things for you then. Which will be good to clear things up in time for early next week. So rainfall, looks like everybody's going to be getting some amount of rain. Again, it's just a question of when exactly it's going to strike, and could have up to around an inch in some areas, especially around the southern portion of the Arclitex. Now keep in mind, that's the whole next 7 days. Technically, we do have a slim chance of rain at the very tail end of the 7-day forecast on Wednesday. But overall, it's expected to dry out by early next week and kind of see that drying trend through the weekend a little bit. So overall, the best time to get out and around here for the weekend is going to be definitely on Sunday compared to Saturday. It doesn't mean you won't get rained on Sunday. Still a little chance of rain here for your Sunday, but rain is going to be more numerous storms around here for your Saturday. So rain is mainly starting here into the region here for tomorrow. Today, nice and dry, still incredibly hot. Highs are down to 93. That's the relief you get. A 7-degree temperature drop, I would say 93 degrees is still, hot, but it's not 100 degrees hot. You get the point. So it's nice and dry and sunny once we get into early next week, and back goes on the high to pretty much 100 degrees once we reach into Monday. And then somewhere around the late portion of next week, I'm looking at our next system of rain potentially coming in somewhere around probably Wednesday, Thursday time frame for next work week, which could look to cool us off again just a little bit, similar to what the Saturday's batch of rain is doing. So it looks like we get back up to that intense heat and sunshine for less of a streak than the 4 to 5 days that we have had it here for this work week. All right. So anyways, that was a look at your full local forecast. Just watch out for the rain over the next 2 days before heat's back. And even then, heat's still with us pretty much during the rain itself. So, all right, when we come back, we're going to hop straight into the interview with Tommy House. We're going to do that immediately after the commercial break. Now, a little heads up about the interview. For some reason, I've done interviews on my phone before, and it's been just fine. For some reason, when I was playing back over the recording of the interview, it's a little laggy on my end. You can definitely tell, especially with the video. The audio sounds still pretty good, which is why I still use the audio. But essentially, I might be moving like this, essentially, where, I'm moving in freeze frames, essentially, on my video, but the audio is still coming through just fine. And on his end, most importantly on his end, everything looks a lot better from his point of view. So that's good to hear. So just be aware of that. It turned out to not be the best, interview quality on my end. But, hey, we'll still take it, and I appreciate Tommy for taking the time to be able to come speak with me. All right, that interview, again, is coming up after this quick commercial break. We'll see you after this. Welcome on back to the First Over the Breakdown. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomas, and joined by Thomas House. You go by Tommy, right?
Tommy, yeah.
Cool. Just making sure, man. All right.
First of all, thanks for coming to take the time to be able to join me here for the day today. Obviously, you're centralized. You and your station are centralized in Austin, Texas, close to everything that's been happening. So before I get into, I guess, the current thing of what's been going on, and obviously the situation that's still unfolding. It's been 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks later. I kind of want to get your experience through this. Take me through the forecast process through this, what you forecasted, and then obviously, I don't even think, I could be wrong, but I don't think that you expected something this detrimental to happen even in your forecast.
Yeah, I mean, first, thanks for having me on, Evan. Happy to be here. Yeah, we're located in Austin, Texas. I work with KXAN, Nexstar affiliate here. Yeah, I mean, this was a very complex and intricate system. What we knew was Barry made landfall as a tropical storm on the coast of the Gulf, and very weak system when it made landfall, brought maybe 2 to 4 inches of rain there. And essentially what happened is, like we see in Texas, is the remnants of moisture of Barry worked through Mexico and arrived in Texas. Now, there were a few different things that we forecasted versus what happened. The available computer model data had the remnants of this getting flushed out of our area after maybe 1 to 2 days, dumping between 1-3 inches plus. And that was about 2-3 days out of the event happening. So let's say July 1st. We worked closer to the 4th when we originally saw during the overnight hours, the 3rd and 4th, the heavy rain. A little bit more of an uptick of computer models, but even the National Weather Service, 3 inches, isolated 6 plus. I worked overnight into early the 4th when we began to see some of the heavy rain. One of the initial things that we originally detected, looking at some of the surface winds, is we saw an MCV developing. Strong area of low pressure system out in the hill country that was beginning to produce some strong showers and downpours. Now, while this happened, the flood watch, which was only 3 to 6 inches plus, was issued for these same areas from Thursday afternoon into Friday. Friday overnight into Friday is when a lot of this rain started out in Kirk County. I was sitting there at 2 a.m. and we started to see some of these rivers rise. Flash flood warning gets issued. Now, it was a complex situation because Kerr is outside of our market, although so many people who live in Austin travel to Kerr, Guadalupe rivers, one of the biggest rivers in the Lone Star State. It's traveled to vacation camps, etc. So we made the call very early Friday morning to be aggressive and get after what's going on here, because we knew right off the bat this was historic. Now, similar to the National Weather Service, we were putting out, 3 to 6 isolated plus. The graph, which is a WSI computer model, high resolution, was outputting one run, 14 inches, 2 days before on Wednesday. Now, the problem with that is, this as a meteorologist, you don't want to put out the highest amount if the next one comes out as 3 inches. You want to kind of use your best estimate. So we were kind of with the NWS on that. And then obviously we saw those totals get updated. And once we saw that the MCV was not moving, we knew Friday night into Saturday there was going to be a lot more rain. And then, Friday into Saturday, locally in Travis County, we saw 15 inches plus. Multiple counties saw 6 months worth of rain in just 24 to 36 hours.
I think that's something I misinterpret, is that this wasn't just obviously the timing of this was truly both impeccable and unfortunate. Not only was it the overnight hours, it was the overnight hours on a holiday, 4th of July.
Correct.
So it just makes for, as I said, a really unfortunate timing for you guys. Obviously, no one wants to be working a holiday, but just such an unfortunate situation that everybody was kind of kept off guard. They knew it was going to be a rainy day, but I guess, as you said, not to this extent. You put the flash flood. The National Weather Service put out the flash flood emergencies, which are higher than flash flood warnings. That always kind of catches my ear, watching at that last term, so to speak. So I guess from your perspective, how much did the 4th of July event and the holiday itself kind of, I guess, play into how much of your viewers were really, I know your viewers were aware of it, but just kind of kept off guard by it, by all the holiday hype, I guess, so to speak?
Yeah, Evan, most people don't I shouldn't say most, a good amount of people still have some trouble with the difference between a watch warning emergency, even the flash flood emergency compared to a flash flood warning. There needs to be a streamlined communication of what's going on, how this is issued. Um, there were proposals of sirens, but then that gets tricky with tornadoes. I know at least the National Weather Service had 5 members there into the holiday. You know this too. I'm sure y'all have any sort of day, regardless if it's a holiday or not. We have the staff in. A lot of people, like you said, maybe it was a holiday, maybe they shut their phones off for the night. Maybe they turned off the weather radio because I'm on vacation. Just another reason why any sort of severe alerts that come in, we have to take them with the full respect that they have and precautions necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, that word emergency, I think it's weird because it's a rare thing to happen. But I think especially when it comes to a flash flood emergency, I'm just thinking about this with you being on here as well. You should treat it like the equivalent of a tornado warning, and I don't mean in the sense of you get in your most interior of the house, not that kind of incentive, but like the most urgency, so to speak, and for us to be on air during flash flood emergencies rather than flash flood warnings, because flash flood warnings, they still do matter. They're usually like street flooding. Obviously, you don't want your cars driving in that, but that's really it. It doesn't really reach up as high as, say, house level, so to speak, or carrying and sweeping people away, such as flash flood emergencies do. So I think, just to go on your point, I think emergencies are just incredibly rare to find. The term flash flood emergency compared to flash flood warning, it's so rare to find that just nobody knows what to do with it, and they kind of just treat it as a flash flood warning. It's like, okay, it's just raining a lot.
Yeah, and Central Texas is the flash flood alley, so a lot of these people, they get anytime they get rain, they could get a warning. So obviously we have to work on ways to better improve and communicate. Meteorologists, National Weather Service, doesn't matter who, trying to for the future save more lives.
Yeah. So obviously you were looking at this live in your own studio. Just kind of one more time, can you just tell me the thoughts that were going on through your head, obviously going in, but just real quick, I remember on the day of, for me, I was looking at, I always have the alerts for National Weather Service flash flood warnings or tornado warnings. Any of those two that are issued by the National Weather Service anywhere, they're issued to my social media page, specifically my Twitter page. And usually early in the morning, it's completely quiet. That morning, it was going off. So tell me from your eyes, especially on a local point of view, what was going through your mind, I guess, the day of?
Yeah, the slow moving systems, right? Plenty of tapped into the moisture, essentially all squeezed out on the ground. And overnight, that's when it's most dangerous because, as we talked about, people don't have those alerts turned on. And once we saw the slow moving and the intensity and the MCV, things were starting to pick up and come together. We knew this wasn't just going to get flushed out of our area in 6 hours. This was going to be a long-term effect. Checking the river gauges, every few minutes we get new updates on those gauges downstream. Guadalupe River started rising tremendously, 25 plus feet in just a matter of minutes. And this also impacted San Saba River, Lana River, the Pedernales River, St. Gabriel River up in Williamson County. So we kind of saw all this coming together. And as soon as we began to see the Guadalupe River rise, we were like, all right, these other rivers are going to start going too. Even before the river flood, even before the flood warnings came out, we were already saying, hey, flood warnings probably going to be expected here. Those are issued more for rivers, as you know. So once we saw the pieces start to come together, we knew this was going to be a generational event.
Yeah. I just got one more question for you. Obviously, 3 weeks later, and this is still definitely a top story in my mind and still nationally as well, because it's still ongoing now. I think, thankfully, based on recent news, it sounds like people are accounted for a lot more, which is good news there. But obviously, still people are reeling from the loss of life and also the loss of property as well. Just last question, especially since you're closer to the kind of the scene and the overall vibe, how are the feelings there, and what kind of help do you need that we could possibly hear from the architects looking outside into your sort of community? What kind of help do you need?
Yeah, I mean, there's actually still even a few people reported missing. That number's dropped significantly down to 3 last time I checked in Kirk County, but we're still getting to even pull all the damage apart and look and assess of what's happening. I know obviously clothing, food, volunteers, necessary Red Cross. There's dozens of nonprofits, even from Texas and Louisiana, northern Texas and Louisiana. I'm sure there's websites online where people can go and either buy something online to help a local business or something like that. Just trying to give back to the community. And, as you mentioned, this is going to be something we're going to have to talk about, months, years from now, the effects of what happened. But community coming together, showing its strength here in Texas, it's truly just impactful.
Gotcha. So yeah, I wish you and your community, I will say, the best of luck, especially moving forward. Man, just a unfortunate kind of event that just reeled in, honestly, at the worst time. And as you said, just kind of all the ingredients work together in the worst possible way and worst possible outcome in that matter. So, as I said, I wish you the best of luck moving forward. Definitely keep me updated, and I'll look forward to definitely keeping in touch with you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, Evan. Thank you, man.
All right, that's it for now. Well, thank you very much for joining, and I'll talk to you all later.
Welcome on back to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Again, thank you very much for watching that interview. If you want to go back and watch it, always you can go back to our tab at First Alert Weather Breakdown, because that's where our recorded, I was going to say meetings, recorded podcasts are. You go to KSLA.com, click on our podcast tab, click on First Alert Weather Breakdown, and every single episode we do is recorded on there. Now, real quick before we toss it off and say our goodbyes here, they want to mention, I'm sorry about the video quality specifically on that interview. I don't know why that turned out so bad. The last time I actually did a video the same way, I did the video of the interview the same way about 2 to 3 weeks ago. Same device, same spot even. The interview was fine. It was completely fine. I don't know what happened with the video quality. As I said, the audio quality still turned out to be pretty much mostly great. There was 1 or 2 spots that probably got fidgeted with, so to speak, a little bit. But overall, I don't know what happened. Hopefully that does not happen again, but we'll see. As I said, you can go back and watch it on First Alert Weather Breakdown. The whole interview itself. But anyways, thank you very much to Tommy for coming on out and speaking with us here on the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Do want to reiterate myself live as well. Wish the best for all those reeling still for Central Texas at this time frame. Thankfully, they've been enjoying some dry weather around there to help them recover in the last couple weeks since then. For the most part, there was still some rain lingering after that 4th of July, but especially in the last 2 weeks, it's been pretty much completely dry in areas of Central Texas since then, which has been good. Anyways, thank you for joining First Alert Weather Breakdown. I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson. You have a great rest of your day. I will see you again for one last episode of the. Well, it's not the final episode of the First Alert Weather Breakdown, but it's one more episode of the First Alert Weather Breakdown here for tomorrow at 10:30 on Friday before we take a break for the weekend, essentially. We'll go over your regional travel forecast for those of you traveling outside of the Arklatex here for the weekend. That forecast will be on for tomorrow. Anyways, have a good one. I'll see you again tomorrow, 10:30. Be there. Be square. Most importantly, be weather aware, especially with the rain around tomorrow and Saturday. Well, more details coming up tomorrow. See ya.